What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we have the treasure map preparation video. Now, look, this treasure map really come out of nowhere. I completely forgot that this TM is literally starting, like, tomorrow, so, you know, we're gonna go ahead and get into grinding this stuff, and I'm showing you guys my own personal teams. I'm gonna get these videos out first for my own teams, because, honestly, even with the new units, it was still a very, very challenging to get the teams working in order, because of some of the unique effects that some of these characters have. You may not think that the fully boosted team can actually work, but you actually have to look a little bit deeper in terms of how the characters work, how these new units work, because we haven't had these new units for very long, and, you know, it's kind of crazy that, you know, we've had them for not even a couple of days, and they're already throwing a TM at us with crazy gimmicks, and you basically have to try and get around them with these new units. I digress. We're going to jump into it, and if I get time to show, like, a preparation style video with some other released Super Sugo units, then I want to make a video in regards to that, but I needed to make my own teams first, and this is exactly what we're showing here. So first of which, we have Portgas D Ace, which is the Super Evolution of the Pirate King Adventures character. Really great artwork, by the way. Now, his buffs are actually really interesting. Multipliers just kind of get buffed in his captain effect. The special ability, though, it does the ignited status to all enemies for 3 turns, which is kind of fine, you know, it is what it is. And then he also is a free-to-play unit that applies a free spirit territory class to the field, 1.5 attack, 25% damage reduction, but it is only for 1 turn. But that's still really, really nice, though. A free-to-play unit to apply territory is always pretty good to have. And then also reduces paralysis by 6 turns. Quick, Free Spirit, and Powerhouse get -1 turn of cooldown, and then also those units get 2 times color affinity for 3 turns. If your health is 50% or below when you launch the special, it extends the duration of your chain locks by 2 turns, and further increases your chain lock effect by 0.25. It's not the most broken free-to-play character in the game, but look, it's a free-to-play unit, activates territory, multiple turns of color affinity boost, 6 turns of paralysis removal. It does have hunger as a free-to-play unit, which is nice to have. Really interesting with one of his crewmate abilities here, reduces burn by 1 turn, so if you're inflicted with that, you just can get rid of that, which is just good to have, of course. Support effect is kind of whatever, doesn't really have anything too crazy, and he's not really that great in Rumble, but of course, you want to go ahead and get this character from Pirate King Adventures, get him leveled up, so you can super evolve him, and of course, he's going to give you a lot more points in the treasure map when you have him super evolved. Let's go ahead and start things off with our first of the treasure map bosses, which is going to be up against the Tobi Roppo. This character is an int boss, so you want to predominantly build with psi-type characters in mind. All types of units get cooldown here, as you know, with stock standard with the first boss, everyone gets cooldown. And then in terms of the gimmicks, so on the final stage, there is a full board of block slots. You get special reverse on your bottom 2 rows. There's going to be normal attacks only, 6 turns of burn, and a 2.5 time chain attack down. If you activate an effect which changes your slots around, then there's going to be 2 turns of reverse inflicted again to your crewmates. So what we're doing here is we're going to be utilizing Kuzan. So for those of you who don't know why we use Kuzan in treasure map, with level limit break, he actually gets a lot of really nice buffs. His captain effect is super cool, lots of cooldown reduction, which is good. Multipliers are respectable, but the effect of the bottom here doubles crew's attack and slot effects by 2 turns at the start of battle 3, meaning as soon as we reach the final stage, he automatically gives us an attack and all boost, so we don't even have to worry about that. Another good thing about his special, very low cooldown, and then it does 1 million fixed damage to all enemies, ignoring all defensive effects, and it gives a chain boundary. But the big thing here is with double Kuzan, we can just use his special in the first 2 stages to wave clear. We reach the final stage, we're going to have a full board of Wano slots thanks to the crewmate ability of Hiyori, and then we've got the Boa Hancock, which can deal with the special reverse and the burn, and then it also gives a chain boost, which kind of gets around the chain attack down. And, you know, if we want to, we can use the Sanji special to get a conditional boost and all of his amazing buffs. Zoro with the support of Eneru to get a 1.5 times color affinity boost. So we're going to have color affinity, we're going to have chain boost, attack boost, all boost, full board of Wano slots. Very, very quick fight. You know, we have all of the slots already, wave clear with Kuzan, reach the final stage, activate Boa Hancock. As we get deeper into the treasure map, activating Sanji special in addition to everything will get us further damage as well. So this is going to be a really comfy team to beat the Tobi Roppo fight. Moving on to our next boss is going to be versus Jack, where it is a quick type boss. And the thing here is that in this TM, there is basically none of these bosses are recommending you to use versus Kaido against any of them. He's really not needed at all. So I'm just going to chuck him on this team because he is a relatively high booster. And with this, the recommended units are going to be Gecko Moria and also the Arlong character. Those units help you basically single-handedly get through everything. So there's going to be Special Bind on your top row, which is what helps with Gecko Moria to deal with the Special Bind. There's going to be Stun on rows 2 and 3. So what they want you to do is they want you to use Arlong as your captain and then Gecko Moria as your crewmate. Either way, it's going to work fine. Arlong deals with the stun. We've got Gecko Moria for the special bind. And the thing is, the enemy has defense up and resilience. Now, normally you can like remove the defense or you could remove the resilience, but the enemy has an effect where if their resilience is removed, then they activate damage nullification. And if their defense is removed, they get Rainbow Shield. And then if you remove the resilience, they get damage nullification. So what you want to do is instead of removing the defense and removing the resilience, you want to, get around them in the other way. So you want to reduce their defense, which is what Arlong does. And you want to do end of turn damage, which is what the Gecko Moria does. So basically, just run Arlong and Moria, the two free-to-play units from the last couple months, and then you're pretty much golden, good to go. So this is a pretty easy fight. The rest of the characters are kind of just, adding to the rest of the crew. We do have 4 driven characters with a friend Kaido, so we do get all of Kaido, or a couple of Kaido's beneficial effects. We're not running a full team of driven, but we do have the Vista, which helps with wave clearing the first 2 stages. Vista does get cooldown for this fight because he is a slasher style unit. So pretty interesting, but overall Arlong and Moria kind of carry the fight against Jack. Next boss is versus Queen, who is a strength type boss. Cooldowns here are given to quick int and psi characters, so build around that of course. Now for this one, there's going to be 5 turns of special bind on your crewmates only. So if your captain removes special bind with their special, that will actually work here. There is also going to be 8 turns of Rainbow Shield, 4 turns of Blue Shield, 4 turns of Damage Threshold. So the way that we're doing with this is we have this Recruit Black Maria. This character has a really low cooldown, and her special ability removes Special Bind, and it also removes enemy defense up. It does remove the Rainbow Shield as well, but it's whatever. We just need to remove the defense up because our captain effect of Carrot does allow our normal attacks to bypass Rainbow Shield, Threshold, Damage, Immunity, all of those types of things. So that's just kind of how it works. We activate Black Maria, we activate Carrot, and then that's pretty much it, right, to get through this content. We can also switch Nami Karina back to Nami, use Nami special to get an attack boost from that. We can potentially get benefits from using Hina, but that's just kind of how we get through this fight. The other thing is we don't have like guaranteed slots technically. We can activate the switch effect of Nami Karina to generate slots, which is kind of nice. Brook is just here for wave clearing. He is a psi unit, so he does get cooldown, so we'll be able to use his double special to wave clear the first 2 stages, and then when we reach the last stage, we activate the rest of our specials. The recommended team that they want you to use here is going to be the Quick Memories Jinbei, as well as his batch with Aladdin, as well as the Fisher Tiger. So they want you to use those style units, as you can see in the quest guide. Yeah, they want you to use Jinbei, Fisher Tiger, and Aladdin in order to get through this fight, which I know not everyone is going to have because no one basically pulled on that Sugo Fest, but if you have them, this is where they want you to use them. Looking forward now at the final Battle Rush boss is going to be against King. King is a little bit funky. He's got a lot of different gimmicks, and what they want you to do here is they want you to use the Momonosuke Denjiro Kinemon legend that just came out. They want you to use him in this quest as a captain. We're not doing that because I want to have max points for the other boss, so this is what I have here for this team. We're going to be using double Psy Gear 5 Luffy, and the way that this team works is that you can see that in terms of the gimmicks here of what actually occurs. There's a full board of badly matching slots. You get the super burn, so you have to be very, very cautious of that. Chain attack down, 3.5 times multiplier, which is actually pretty rough. There's also normal attacks only, damage nullification, slot attack down, so you want to try and change your slots so they're not strength dex, psi, int, quick dex, whatever it is. You want to change them so they're like recovery, tandem, wano, etc. There's also 6 turns of special bind. So in terms of getting around all this, we have the EX Super of Luffy. That is going to enable us to get through the damage nullification. We also have the special bind removal from Nami Carrot. We can use the switch effect and then the special. We get a full board of slots, blah, blah, blah. Then, after that, we have the, what do you call it? Bon Clay. Bon Clay, we're going to change him into a strength unit, strength fighter free spirit, so he will be type effective against Alber. We do also have the support of the Mr. 1 and Ms. Doublefinger to grant a 0.7 chain boost, and that in tandem with the chain boundary that Nami and Carrot also provide with their special should enable us to get around the chain attack down on this quest. The rest of the crew here, I mean, we're going to be using double gear 5 Luffy, so we're going to have an orb boost, color affinity boost. We're going to have an attack boost from that Frankie support as well. And then we also have Zoro for wave clearing the first 2 stages. Brook is completely replaceable. He is not here for any particular reason, aside from the fact that he's a relatively high point booster. And that's basically it. So if things need to change, like if Luffy doesn't get enough cooldown, then we may have to switch him out for something to give him cooldown. Or we could switch it out for an attack booster and then put a cooldown reduction support on Luffy instead. That is also something that I may do, just depending on whether or not Luffy's special will be active for that final stage, which is kind of important. But the rest of the team won't be a problem. Okay, so versus Kaido, this is going to be a little bit of an interesting one. This is a really, really tough fight. So, in terms of the team, we're just running basically max boost. Now, we're not using all of the recommended units, because what they want you to do, recommended-wise, is actually less points than using, obviously, the max boost, as we're doing here. However, you do have to do a little bit of funky stuff in order for the team to actually work effectively. So, due to the crewmate abilities here, you got to make sure that Zoro and Momo are on your left side of your crew, so that when you start the quest, you'll have a full board of Wano slots at the start of the quest. That's important because we're going to activate Momonosuke's special as soon as we enter stage 1. Now, if we get the hidden boss where we get max cooldowns and then the boss runs away, like, it's not that big of a deal. That's it. That's actually perfect. It means we can save Momo's special, but you would activate Momo's special, you get a full board of whatever, of the Wano slots due to the crewmate abilities, and then the support of Jinbei will lock your slots, meaning that we keep the Wano slots for multiple turns, which is important because when we hit stage 2 versus Kaido with his effects will actually change all of your slots into paralysis slots, which means you have to bring someone or a support that can specifically get rid of paralysis. Now, it can't be one of those supports that says, when you're inflicted with paralysis, remove paralysis by X amount of turns. Those supports do not work unless you're actually inflicted with the paralysis debuff. Because paralysis slots work a bit differently, there's not a lot of supports that specifically help you in this scenario. So what we're doing is we have the Wano slots, we keep them for the next stage, and the opponent cannot change them. Now, as for the rest of it, there's 7 turns of a chain lock, really nasty chain lock. There's also going to be a chain attack down as well. So what we're doing here is we're going to be activating the Yamato special. Yamato will remove the chain lock by 7 turns because she can remove any one debuff on our crew by 7, which is perfect. Also grants an attack boost and an orb boost. We can then go ahead and use Zoro's special. Zoro gives a chain boundary, which is kind of cool, but then when we activate the Luffy special as well, because we have attack boost, orb boost, and a chain boundary, his special will extend all of those buffs by 2 turns, which is phenomenal for us, so we can keep that for the next stage as well. And then we can kill, no problem whatsoever. And then when we hit the final stage versus Kaido, there's a lot of different debuffs. There's 7 turns of Rainbow Shield, 7 turns of damage threshold, 7 turns of defense up. Remember, with Luffy's captain ability, right here and near the middle, it says, if right at the top of this paragraph, if you have 6 free spirit characters on the crew and you use a special to remove resilience, damage reduction, threshold, or defense up, adds 1 turn to the removal. We have 2 Luffys as our key captains, which is going to be perfect for the Sanji special ability. This Sanji is amazing, by the way. He removes damage reduction, defense up, resilience, and damage threshold all by 5 turns. The 2 Luffy abilities will make that become 6 turns, 7 turn removal with double Luffy. So Sanji deals with all of that, and we have a secondary Luffy special to remove the 7 turns of attack down on the final stage. So I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue at all. We're going to have plenty of damage, no real issues at all, and it is going to be a max point booster team, which I am very, very much excited to use and see just how fast we're going to scale points in this treasure map. Okay, now we get to the really weird fight, the Intrusion fight versus Ace himself. So let's go ahead and break down exactly what's going on here. So versus Battle 2, 6 turns of attack down. There is a pain debuff, which really sucks. Or it's the it's the pain debuff, right? Yeah, 20,000 damage after performing an action. There is going to be a Wano slot barrier. There's going to be a territory on the field, and there's just nasty stuff, right? So what we're doing is for this one, we're going to use Luffy special to remove the attack down. And there's really not much else that we need to do. Zoro does have a really interesting crewmate ability where it says that it sets the top row character slots into Wano at the start of the quest, meaning that our Luffys will have Wano slots. We can enter that stage, we can break the barrier that's on stage 2, and after a Luffy special we should be pretty good just to break through that and kill. I don't think we need to use any other specials there. If we do, then it is what it is. We can, you know, we can obviously put a support on our Luffy to get us additional damage if we need for stage 2, but we'll see what happens once we move a little deeper into the event. So that's that. Moving on to the final stage versus Ace. So there's a lot of different gimmicks to take note of here, right? So versus Ace, all slots are changed into block slots. There's going to be 8 turns of bind only for your crewmates. Remember that Luffy's captain effect, if you have 4 or more free spirits, he removes burn and bind by 10 turns, so we don't have to worry about the bind. 3 turns of special reverse, which is one of the most annoying things here. 6 turns of special bind, normal attacks only, and then for 7 turns, all of these slots, recovery, similar, empty, tandem, and Wano slots are all treated as badly matching slots. Very, very nasty effect. And then also 9 turns of color affinity removed, so all our damage is actually neutral. Very, very interesting that they decided to do that. As well as 8 turns of despair. Now, one thing that, before we actually talk about how this team gets around this, you have to notice here that the last line of Ace's effects on stage 2, it says that he applies an enemy territory on the field for 3 turns. That is really, really important. If we have a look at the crewmate abilities of Yamato, one of Yamato's crewmate abilities says that if the field has free spirit class or cerebral class, then free spirit and cerebral characters' special bind and despair is reduced by 3 turns. And of course the enemy will have one, but we're using a Luffy on stage 3 as well, which will give us 3 turns of a territory. Very important that we have that in order to trigger this crewmate ability to resist despair by 3 turns and special bind by 3 turns. Conversely, the Momonosuke also has a very similar style of crewmate ability, where if the field of any kind has a territory active, then Slasher and Free Spirit characters get resistance against special reverse by 1 and their own special reverse by 2. So this is really, really key. So it enables us to basically deal with a bunch of special reverse, -1 from Momonosuke, and then both Sanji and Zoro both have crewmate abilities to resist special bind, special reverse. Specifically, Sanji deals with the bottom row special reverse by 2 turns. So Sanji deals with a special reverse by 2, Momonosuke deals with a further 1 turn of it, so it is a total of 3 turns of special reverse. Sanji gives cooldown as well, so we've got multiple different ways in order to deal with all of the special reverse stuff, which is important for the team to actually function properly. And from there, you just activate all of the specials. So the order of operations is we'd use Zoro first to get rid of the special bind, Yamato EX Super, Yamato Special, and we want to use Yamato Special to remove the badly matching slots. So it does say here, for 7 turns, Empty, Tandem, Wano, Recovery, and Semler are treated as badly matching. We would use Yamato to remove that effect. Sanji, of course, gives a full board of matching slots. Momonosuke, and then we could use the Luffy special ability. So that's the plan. That's the plan moving forward. Hopefully we can get that all done. I believe it is very important, though, to have both Zoro and Sanji on the bottom row for this team to actually function properly. So make sure to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, the special reverse is going to hinder Zoro's ability to use his special and stuff. So yeah, make sure that you are actively doing that. Otherwise, the team won't actually work as intended, right? But yeah, it should give us enough damage to get through, and the thing as well is in terms of the bunch of, there's like 8 turns of despair, right? So we have -3 turns from our sockets. We also have -3 turns from the Yamato crewmate ability, so that gives us a total of 6. And then the support of Kanjuro attached to Momonosuke removes a further 2 turns of it. Of course, you could use Rayleigh on Luffy, for example. There's a couple of different options you can use, but that should remove all 8 turns of the despair that is inflicted to us as well. And that's basically how our team is getting through this really nasty looking treasure map versus Ace. Another thing you have to keep in mind for this treasure map event is that it is going to be the first iteration of a super treasure map, which is basically kind of like a blitz battle, but they're using the treasure map as like the conduit for this blitz battle. So you basically just want to play as much as you possibly can. You get a bunch of rewards for doing so, additional bounty, additional rainbow gems, but you know, just play TM as per usual, and you're going to be getting your hands on a bunch of additional rewards. So there's nothing really too much noteworthy about it. Just play as much as you possibly can and you're going to be golden. So that is going to wrap it up for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.